Welcome back, everyone. Back out in the garage today. What am I doing? Well, it's day one of waiting for the transmission to come back for my dump truck. But I have some work to do on this old Ram. It's a 2006 Dodge Ram, 5.9 Cummins diesel in it. It sprung an oil leak. The feed line going to the turbo. It goes on the top of the turbo right here and then works its way back to looks like a manifold right above the oil filter housing. So it's all right there. I don't gotta get all contorted, but I'm gonna take this air box and the air tubes out. This is the new oil supply line for the turbo oil feed. I actually bought this better part of a month, if not 2 months ago. So that's it. It's pretty simple, short. It goes from the oil filter housing on this end, basically just like that, down to the turbo. Okay, this stuff is really simple to get out. There's a 10mm bolt here. I actually think there's a bolt that might go down through the bottom. Maybe there's just a locating pin, I can't remember. But that stuff might be broken. Then there's a sensor up here, an air sensor. Got a clamp onto here, a clamp onto the turbo. I'm gonna take those both off. There's two locator pins on the bottom of this one. They're both busted. This truck's got almost 300,000 miles on it though, so that's not a surprise. I'll just get this one off of the turbo, and I think we'll have full access to that line. Oh, I don't think stuff is supposed to fall out of there. So here's the line. Goes in and feeds the turbo right there, and it loops just right there. Get this wire for that air sensor. It's gonna be in my face. All right, so it goes in right there, lines up through, and it screws on right there. That's the oil filter housing. So I'll get a couple wrenches. They look good and lubed up, so geez, I don't even know for sure which end is leaking, but the whole thing is saturated. So they should break free and come off pretty easy, hopefully. Well, I found out where it was leaking. It's definitely leaking on the backside, right on the turbo. So I got this front section, came loose straight away. As soon as I turned this piece, the line just snapped. So I'm sure that's where she was leaking. Thankfully, we're putting a new one on. Can you see it right there? Hopefully that's the same kind. Uh-oh. So it's still, this part here screws into the turbo, and then this is actually the end of the line right there. So I gotta get a wrench on there, see if I can loosen that up. I think the other end the same way. I think this part's spinning out of the oil filter housing. Not a big deal. Ow. There. So here's what's left of the line. That's where she broke. Get this one off, clean it up. We'll screw those back in and we'll be done in no time. I need a new vise. This one's older than Jesus. It doesn't work great. Usually, if you're doing anything that requires a little bit of force, you gotta wail on with a hammer to tighten it up. Alright. Alright, I got both of the fittings in, back in, cleaned up and put in. And while I was down here, I decided I was going to take the silencing ring out of the turbo. So this is just a clip. This little guy right here is the actual silencing ring. I did this to another truck I had. Don't really know that it does anything when it's out. Maybe you get a little more turbo noise. That holds it in. So that other piece goes in cone shaped in, and then this goes in front of it. There's a little ridge right here. That's probably good for 50 horse. Okay, that side did start. This side just being a butthole. There we go. Huh? Talk to me. What do you want? Well, I'll get that line tightened up and clean up that turbo flange, and then we'll check it for a leak before I put that air box and air tube back in. That way we can see if it's leaking or not. Which, the hose obviously isn't going to leak, but the connections is what I'm worried about. So, got it all tightened up. Fire it up. See if there's any instantaneous leaks. And then let it run for a little bit, and we'll see if there's anything else. Leaks. That's fantastic. Well, that'll do it for this day's screw ups. I'll get that air box in there and fill her up with oil and see what happens in the coming days. It wasn't leaking a whole bunch, but if you left it running in the driveway for 5 minutes, you had a puddle, a noticeable puddle under there, so I'll be able to tell. But I'm sure there was a hole in that old line the way it broke right off when I spun the fittings off, and it's not leaking right now, so that's a good thing. So thanks for watching. See you next time.